everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another film review. Sorry, we are in the little weird swirly chair corner. I've just not long finished work, and I thought I cannot be arsed setting everything up, so I'm just going to sit down, relax, chill in a little corner before I nod off and I'll be dead to the world and speak about Superman, because me and Chris went last night, and I'm going to be honest, visuals. I'll start off by saying, from a non-Superman guy, fuck me, that was an awesome film. Yeah, it's not James Gunn's start to the DCU, because we know we had like Creature Commandos and stuff, and we had Peacemaker and whatnot, which we know exists in his DCU universe, and but it's his first like official proper launch. Yes, I know, and again, Suicide Squad was kind of will be canon and all that kind of shit, wasn't it? And me and Chris were still a bit like, well, yeah, we're 100% sure that's still in it, because Suicide Squad, Peacemaker kicked on from that. Peacemaker's part of it, so that Suicide Squad should be. But anyway, it's James Gunn's like first sort of real big kickoff to the DCU and how he sees it. And visuals, this film was so much friggin' fun. It had James Gunn's sort of art style towards it. It had his kind of like his comedy sprinkled in. It had some sort of like, it was nowhere near Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 heavy, but there were a couple of little moments that did sort of, get to you. But to be fair, I'm a little bitch, and I can get easily emotional during films. It basically had all the little James Gunn sort of trademarks, sort of things that you'd expect to see in a James Gunn film, stuff sprinkled all throughout and whatnot. The music as well, the score in this is quite a fun little soundtrack. I think they released it about a week or so before the film came out anyway, with the kind of songs that were going to be in it, and a lot of the songs, in fact, to be fair, I can't think of a single one that didn't sort of feel out of place or anything. They all sort of sit in perfectly well. Okay, why is this version of Superman, for me, one that I could really get behind and root? I think it's because, again, I've read Superman, I've got Superman comics, I've got Superman stuff and whatnot, but he's not at the center or the front of my comic book collected stuff. But from a casual, I guess, Superman fan, like I said, I'm more of a hater than a fan. Still, I think they did it so much justice. I think this felt like a very comic booky, somewhat campy Superman comic. It felt like it was a real comic book brought to life, and whenever we get close to that kind of shit, it always friggin' tickles my little warm places. I'm like, yeah, so getting a comic book like from the pages onto the big screen and stuff. Even the way Lex was done, this particular version of Lex is, a lot of them are, but this was such a hateable Lex. Crypto being absolutely phenomenal, Lois Lane being super cool, and the rest of the side characters, Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, Metamorph, Ultraman, fucking Jimmy Olsen and shit. Every sort of side character felt absolutely bang on and integral into their own way of the story. Everybody flowed well off each other. There were some great performances by Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult was I really thought he was a really good Lex. My girlfriend's a big Nicholas Hoult fan, but she's not really a big Superman fan. But I think she could potentially watch this just because of his performance, and she might have fun in it because of him. The clip that we got before the film was released of the "Where's the dog, Lex?" or what did it say? Where's the dog, Luthor? That sort of thing. The way he's playing it out, it just all felt brilliant. I love this. This Lex and this Superman sort of relationship and dynamic. The action sequences in this film. I did see some people do the early reviews saying they thought some of the CGI and stuff was a bit clunky, and they called it Flash-like. Personally, I thought it was a lot more smoother and cleaner than the Flash, but at the same time, like I said during the Flash review, CGI doesn't have to be perfect for me. It doesn't have to be absolutely outstanding. Like, again, I always go back to graphics that I don't mind. I'll still happily play old school Pokemon, and I'll be like, yeah, this is the best graphics I've ever seen in my life. The overall story itself was just, like, again, something you could really get behind. Multiple different scales as well, but multiple different villains that Superman goes up against, and you're just laughing all the way with him. You're feeling the heavy moments with him constantly. They really make you root for this Superman and get behind him, which I think traditionally you do anyway. Even like Henry Cavill's Superman, where it was a bit darker and a bit on the nose, I guess. You still got behind moments, all this kind of stuff. but I really felt and rooted for the Superman. Where like I said, usually I'm all about the web slinging and the batarang chucking and all this kind of shit. So when Superman usually gets involved, I'm like, okay, it's cool, you're here, probably gonna do something cool, but I don't really care. But this was just okay. I dig this Superman, and for a Superman to come out in any sort of form of media, and for me to be like, yes, come on, Superman, let's fucking go. It says a hell of a lot, because like I said, any long-term viewers of the channel, like I said, you'll know that I'm not a big Superman guy. I've given reasons throughout the years, multiple reasons. I won't fucking go over it. But yeah, but for it to be able to be like, yep, I'm fully suited. What's his name? David. I can't fucking remember his name now. I definitely think, and I think I do this quite a lot because of recency bias and whatnot, but I think we might have a contender already straight away for who's been the best Superman, or the best actor to play Superman. He has to be in the conversation for me. But like I said, I really dug this Superman, and I really got so excited and over the moon and like happy at loads of moments. I think the bit I love, well, the bits that I love, I don't know if it's because, again, I'm a dog person, but the bits involving Krypto were amazing. Again, this isn't a spoiler because you saw it in the trailers. The stuff involving when Superman's, you see him fall down, he's in the snow and he whistles to Krypto, and Krypto gets back to the Fortress of Solitude and stuff. Just really, just proper warm and endearing, just like, oh, this is fucking adorable. I love it. And even his interactions with Krypto, because before that, he gets him away. He's trying to like, oh shit, I'm going to spoil tell you now. Spoiler-free review, that we will have a spoiler-heavy review up on next weekend when Chris is back around to do the podcast, when we're off to go see. I know what you did last summer, but I genuinely think if you'll go into this film and you'll have so much fun. I love when comic book films are dark and nitty and gritty, and the Batman, for example, and whatnot. But I have nothing wrong, because it's maybe my most favorite time is when comic books or comic book films are over the top and bright and, like I said, super campy and a bit goofy and a bit silly, because the whole concept of superheroes is silly and goofy and camp and over the top. So to see it play out just so perfectly. Again, if I'd never read a comic book or knew the existence of comic books, I would sit and I could watch this film and go, I can imagine, like, you know, people reading these and being over the top, and people like colouring them in and drawing them in and all that kind of shit, like he's come from some sort of book or whatever. It did so well. I'm not going to sit here and say, some people have said their early reviews, the best comic book film of all time. I'm not going to go that far, I don't think. It's by no stretch, you know, in a conversation and maybe a top fucking 10 for me, to be honest. Again, I'm recency biased, I'd have to go over everything. But it's certainly one of the best films I've seen this year. It'd be very hard for anything at the minute to beat Sinners and 28 Years Later for me personally. Is it better than Thunderbolts? Because we had another comic book film, of course, this year. No, Thunderbolts kind of hit really hard for me. I don't know if that's because of Florence Pugh and her performances, Yelena. That shit kind of fucking broke me. Even though, again, so there's moments in this that kind of, like, you know, near enough fucking broke me. But I think this is a massive win for comic book fans. And I think it's a massive win for the DC and getting the DC back up and running back. Because I think the DC was slowly making its way back anyway, in terms of live action shit. But I think this is a huge step in the right direction. I cannot wait to going forward and seeing all the other projects come out of James Gunn's DCU, or his umbrella of DC and stuff, with future Batman. And then there was, obviously, I heard talks about Swamp Thing coming up eventually at some point. And then when you eventually get like a Justice League, or when we eventually get there's a talk of a Clayface coming out and stuff. Anything that falls under this umbrella, I am so looking forward to. Have I even reviewed? I always get to the end of film reviews and go, have I even fucking reviewed it? It's getting dark. Sorry, I finished work a little bit later and I'm so very tired. But I will be going back to watch Superman at some point because, like I said, it was so much fucking fun. The action moments, so cool. The moment where him and Krypto. I did see somewhere that in fact, no, it was Penguin Zero that first, most critical, that first brought it to my attention. There was a scene removed of Krypto getting hit. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. I understand you don't want to see a dog getting hit, not a problem. But this is Krypto, the super dog. literally makes no fucking sense. I don't know why we've had to worry about cutting that out. It's fucking super dog. So that was pointless. But anyway, when Crypto was involved in any action sequences and stuff, or anybody involved in action sequences, they look great and they look smooth and they just look beautiful and fun. Choreographed so well. The comedy in this, the acting, the different actors bouncing off each other, the different characters that played off each other. Like I said, the Lex and Superman dynamic in this one, so fucking awesome and so cool. It will, like I said, it will hit you a little bit in the chest. Well, again, it did for me because I'm an emotional fucking wreck at fucking times. And you're gonna have so much fucking fun, and an amazing summer blockbuster, an amazing time at the cinema, and an amazing, huge, massive win for comic book films and comic book fans in general. That is my review for Superman, and as you've probably already guessed, we're giving it a 10 out of 10. Yes, bottom shock, Dan gives something a 10 out of 10, but it is a bit of a shock, because usually I'm like, oh, fuck Superman, he's a bit of a prick, I don't really like him. But in this version I do. I fucking love him. I'm even close to be like, should I buy a Superman shirt? No, don't go that far. Don't go that far, Dan. You're not that guy. But yeah, Superman, amazing. Fucking amazing. There are one or two negative reviews online, which I've heard out, and some people really, really hate it. I did see the massive arguments some people were having, like, towards the start of the week. It was like Monday or Tuesday or some shit. Okay, God. Been at work. Because James Gunn said on Twitter or somewhere that Superman's an immigrant, and people kicked off being like, oh, why are you making it thingy? Why are you calling Superman an immigrant? And it's like, what? Well, he kind of is. He's an immigrant to the whole entire fucking planet. I don't understand what the definition of immigrant is if he doesn't fall in the definition of immigrant. I haven't got a fucking clue. And then people just kicking off and going crazy and going nuts, which I can't be bothered with. I'm not sitting there arguing politically and shit over Superman. I'll argue about a film point of view, but I ain't fucking doing political shit. Did I just contradict myself and start arguing with myself about... Probably. But anyway, visuals, highly recommend you go check out Superman. Absolutely awesome. Sorry again about the quality video. Like I said, I'm just gonna sit, unwind, put this video together, upload it, and then just die off from work, because I'm gonna have to be an OnlyFans model soon, because that shit seems a lot easier than breaking my back at work. But visuals, that's my review of Superman. Hopefully I did a good job. I feel like I've just rambled a bit more, and sorry again for the quality of shit, but more importantly, visuals, thank you so much for watching. You guys are literally the fucking best. But remember to always keep being you and keep on keep it on.